Parentheticals are used to help the reader understand the significance of the case or source you are citing. Generally, parentheticals are used in law review articles and research papers, and less frequently in legal memoranda and court documents. Parentheticals allow you to compress information into a small space. That space would be that parenthetical that follows the citation. However, if the material or the source you are referring to is complicated and/or important to your issue, then you should explain it in the text and not in parentheticals. Rule 46 demonstrates how to use explanatory parentheticals. However, you can use parentheticals for quotes or for altering the typeface of the wording, such as adding italics or bold, which would be Rule 48. You would also use parentheticals to denote to the reader that the information you are citing is in a concurring or dissenting opinion, which is Rule 12.11. You need to use the index to locate the rule that is apropos for using parentheticals. If you listen to the shepherdizing lesson, then you know there are various symbols used in Lexis to indicate the status of a case. An example is the yellow triangle, which indicates possible negative treatment of a case. You could use a parenthetical to alert the reader of this status. If you elected to use a parenthetical for a case with a red stop sign, which indicates negative treatment, sometimes referred to as bad law, then you should use a footnote to explain why the case is still good law for the point of law you are using. So I have provided you with two questions so we can practice, or two examples rather. So this is information that I provided, and you are to then cite it and put it in parentheticals. So we have the City of Chicago versus International College of Surgeons. This is a 1997 United States Supreme Court opinion. It is reported in volume 522, page 156 of the United States Reports. You wish to cite from page 176 of Justice Ginsburg's dissenting opinion, suggesting that the majority used an improper standard of review. First and foremost, you have to provide the case name. And just like any other case citation, you have to consult the appendix, Appendix 3, for abbreviations, for any words in the case name that you could abbreviate. So in this particular example, I abbreviated Chicago because the abbreviation according to the appendix is capital CHI period versus international. Now, international can be abbreviated in two ways. It could be INT apostrophe L or just L. Either way is fine, but the fourth edition allows for two methods or two ways to abbreviate international. So we know that your case name should either be italicized or underlined. It's just my personal preference. I like italics. And here is the citation. It is in volume 522 of the United States Reports, and it begins on page 156. Well, in the information, or in the example, it says you wish to cite from page 176. 176 is what we call a pinpoint page. So although the case begins on page 156, we are citing to page 176. So you have to let the reader know, although this case begins on page 156, please direct your attention to page 176 in order to review what I'm referring to. So 176 is the pinpoint page, and then you follow it up with the year, which is in parentheticals. Because this is a dissenting opinion, you need to let the reader know. So this is how you would put that it's a dissenting opinion using parentheticals. The justice's last name goes first, followed by a comma, capital J, period, comma, and the type of opinion. In this example, it's a dissenting opinion. And the other thing that we're putting in parentheticals is suggesting that the majority used an improper standard of review. Rule 46 states that if you're not putting a complete sentence in a parenthetical, then you do not need a period within the parenthetical. Okay? Now, the second example is Gary Newland versus Budget Rent-A-Car Systems Incorporated. This is a February 2001 case from the Illinois Appellate Court, 1st District. It is reported in volume 744, page 902 of the Northeastern Reporter, 2nd series. You want to draw attention particularly to material on page 903 of the opinion stating that judges should provide an in-chambers interview in child abuse and neglect cases. So the first thing to do is to provide the case name. Here we can abbreviate system and incorporate it. And again, all case names need to either be italicized or underlined. Here's the volume, and here's the reporter, the second series, and it's page 902. That's the citation. Page 903 is our pinpoint page. We're telling the reader, go to page 903. Okay, because it is in the West Regional Reporter, in parentheticals you have to provide the court, and this is the Illinois Appellate Court, 1st District. So if you look in the appendix, and that's Appendix 4, it gives you the abbreviation for the court, but it also gives you the abbreviation for the court on page 418 in your ALWD citation manual under Illinois. In the box it shows you how you abbreviate the court and include the district. This is a 2001 case. Okay, so that's the closing of the parentheticals, the first parentheticals. And the second is judges should provide an in-chambers interview in child abuse and neglect cases. Now, Rule 46, in particular, 46.2b, explains how to properly order multiple parentheticals. You have to know what you're citing to, what you're going to put in parentheticals, and where to find it in the rule. So the important part is knowing where to look in the rule in order to properly cite using a parenthetical. In addition to this example, there is a web link that shows you to Cornell Law how to cite using parentheticals. And you can always, again, refer back to this lesson for practice and look in your ALWD citation manual. You can use the index to locate the various rules that address parentheticals. And you can always email me if you have any questions.